Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to Ewe Creek in Denali National Park in Alaska. Now, I know that we have discussed many bear attacks in this area recently, but this area is a hot zone of bear and human conflict at times. The geography here is rolling hills of tundra as this area lies on the north slope of the park. At the ground level, visibility can be minimal and animals can appear and disappear at will. In the forest, we would call the higher levels of foliage a canopy, but in the tundra, what we would think of as a canopy may only be 10 feet high. Common plants in this area are Arctic willow and cotton grass, with numerous berry bushes dotting the space in between. Wildflowers bear their beautiful blooms in short summers and prepare for an early winter each year. The animals in the area include caribou, Arctic wolves, Arctic foxes, muskox, and numerous dangerous grizzly bears. On July 12, 1949, a 22-year-old United States Geological Survey employee by the name of Jack Reed was performing duties on a slope of the tundra of Ewe Creek. His responsibilities took him into the bush as part of basic research and data collection for the agency. As he crested a small rise, he walked a few yards before he noticed three large dark shapes a short distance away, out of the corner of his eye. As he turned his head, three grizzly bears came into focus. He instantly knew he was far too close for comfort, and that this situation could turn very bad, very quickly if the bears did not choose to flee upon sight of a human being. He had seen bears in the wild before, and had seen the fluid and stunning speed with which they covered ground. It was rare to see any grizzly spend even a few seconds in human presence. They almost always turned and ran, or at least immediately walked out of the area. Reed knew that the distance between them would be erased in a matter of only a few seconds and prepared to do something drastic if he needed to. As he froze in an attempt to avoid drawing the bear's attention, one of them looked up from nibbling something on the ground. As soon as the large grizzly locked eyes with Reed, he knew how the situation would unfold. With its head held high, the grizzly huffed and alerted the other two bears, which were only a few yards away. Reed could see the bear pull its rear legs beneath it as it prepared to take the first powerful bounds toward him. As the grizzly stretched out its paws in his direction, Reed was filled with terror and awe at the seriousness of his predicament. As I have reported before, time slows down in bear attack victims' minds sometimes. In the split second, before the bear steamed toward him, Reed thought back at exactly what he saw when he crested the knoll. He remembered how the three bears seemed to be two full-grown bears, and one smaller bear that was likely a cub of one of the others. He knew of the protective nature of sow grizzlies, and that this attack might end in a bluff charge, but if it didn't, well, let's not think of that option yet. The grizzly had bounded a few yards toward him by the time Reed considered his options. Bear spray had not been invented yet, and he was not carrying a firearm, so his only options were slim to none. Playing dead was not really a common concept at the time, so Reed turned and sprinted toward a nearby 20-foot-high cliff. The downhill slant in the hill helped him run faster than he knew he was capable of doing. The cliff approached him rapidly, but the bear closed on him even faster. Reed navigated the bushy undergrowth in the same manner the bear did, by running right over anything in his path. Fortunately for him, all the plants in his path were small enough to permit this. As Reed approached the cliff edge, he prepared to blindly leap toward the bottom, having no idea what lay at the bottom. For all he knew, it was only a few feet, and would only grant him a brief chance at evading attack from the grizzly. Reed drove his knee high on his last step to propel him off the cliff as fast and as far as possible. Just then, the grizzly was a mere foot behind him, and it desperately swatted at him as he was mid-jump. The immense paw of the grizzly sliced across Reed's lower back just as he leaped from the cliff edge, opening up several slashing puncture wounds as its claws tore their way through his flesh. Reed was propelled even faster in his fall after the bear swatted him in the back. He tumbled through the air, waving his arms and kicking his feet in desperation to maintain his balance. Staring toward the base of the cliff, he could see the ground approaching very rapidly. He braced himself for what would be an enormous impact. Reed crashed into the sloped ground and rolled to a stop. As he looked up toward the top of the cliff, he could see the bear glaring down at him. To his terror, the bear didn't simply give up and walk away.
It turned toward a circuitous route to the bottom to continue its attack on him. As the bear blurred through the brush toward him, Reed decided the only thing he could do was run. He didn't have time to assess if he was injured in his leap from the cliff, but instantly began sprinting for his life. Reed bobbed and weaved through brush and bush alike, with the bear closing in on him. His saving grace was that the bear would regularly have to stop to search for him before dashing toward him after relocating him. The bushes screened his escape, allowing him to maintain a short cushion of distance between him and the pursuing grizzly. As he ran, Reed slowly lost the grizzly. After an intense and confusing pursuit, the grizzly turned around and returned to the top of the cliff, apparently rejoining the two other bears. Reed eventually made his way back to his vehicle. He assessed the gashes made on his back from the bear's angry swipe at him as he leaped from the top of the cliff. After arriving at his vehicle, Reed made his way to the hospital where his injuries received medical care. Although Reed committed one of the cardinal sins to be avoided during a bear attack by running, the bushes and brush screening him allowed him to avoid being further injured by the grizzly. Conventional wisdom says that his best option was to drop flat on the ground and play dead, but this undoubtedly would have led to him being mauled severely or even killed. The presence of the cub and the close proximity of the bears when Reed crested the hill created a very dangerous situation that doesn't often end well. It is obviously not recommended to run from any bear today, but before safe guidelines for handling bear encounters were established, many people responded with their survival instinct. This may have kept our ancient ancestors alive, but only the fast or lucky ones. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I have a few questions for you. What do you think Reed could have done to avoid surprising the grizzlies before cresting the hill? Do you think the bear would have mauled or killed him if he hadn't jumped from the cliff? Do you think running into bushes will be the next evolution in avoiding a bear attack? I will be glad to read and reply to your comments, so please post them in the comments section below and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. It will help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.